Good morning. So let's start about the ecological purification system. This lecture 2 is focused on purification mechanism and slow sand filter and rapid sand filter and ecological purification system, and refocus on chemical-free slow sand filter. As so yesterday I mentioned about the slow sand filter in is completed in London 1829. So the so at that time imageable slow sand filter is mechanical separation of turbid matter with fine sand and slow filtration. Therefore they called slow sand filter. But so this real purification mechanism is by the activity of the small organisms, small biological community near the sun surface. That is related to solar radiation and temperature. So let's start more detail. At that time, so the slow sand filter introduced turbid water, so flow into the sedimentation basin, and then supernatant flow into the slow sand filter, in that case, vertical flow. So sometimes this flow is contained turbid matter that easy to clog, accumulated on the sand surface, and the filter resistance is increased. This filter resistance is they indicated about on the headros. We call it headros. And at that time, we have to remove the surface, turbid matter, accumulated on turbid matter, scrapping and removing this one, turbid, turbid matter. Then filter is restarted. So, and then Hazen, 1900 years ago, so about 120 years ago, this textbook, the filtration public water supply in page 70, there is clear figure, diagram showing accumulation of bacteria near the sun surface. So this one, so that's bacteria number and water sand depth. They are showing accumulation of bacteria near the surface of the sand. This is reported in 1893 in Berlin. Bacteria and dirty matter were accumulated at the top of the sand layer. Depth of scraping was deep in winter, shallow in summer. However, algae were in bloom. Reduction bacteria in open filter is effective, and the more clear filtrate water in comparison with open and covered filter during 20 years. They said, we cannot explain the reduction mechanisms of pathogen by only the physical process. So dirty in winter, summer is shallow. But this is, so the biological depend on the biological activity. He described that physical process was main. However, he notified biological phenomenon. We can operate a filter without any clog during long filter. In that case, we cannot explain about the strain filter, sieving filter, or depth filter attached to the sand surface. Bacteria that turbid matter adhesion. But long filter, we can So we can keep the without any trouble in long filter look like this. Even though in summertime we can easily to so keep a long filter. And in compare with natural soil profile, in that case, biological, so the active layer near the sun, near the soil surface, depth of the active decomposing layer is in soil is constant depth during long period. Depth of the decomposing layer changes dependent on the biological activity. In cold region, this depth region, this depth is deep, but in tropical region, this biological layer is very shallow. And cleaning. So if the filter is clogged, in that case, we have to remove the clogged material near the surface. But however, in the scraping and removing the sun surface was so hard in frozen filter in severe winter. This is East London. The water engineer recommended to cover the filter in cold region. In his textbook, he summarized many filters. So they arranged according to the mean January air temperature. In that case, so as you know, 0 degree 32 Fahrenheit. So he described all filters are open and there is a little serious problem with ice. But at Amsterdam and Rotterdam, the bacteria in effluent are said to be higher in winter than at open other times, much decreased with ice in open filter. So in mean temperature is below 0 degree, at that case, it is better to cover. In compare with the monthly mean air temperature, at that case, New York here and London. In New York, it's very cold in winter, but in summer it's high. But in London, even in winter, is higher than New York. In summer, it's cooler than New York. Not depend on the latitude, but in continent, very severe cold, so the air temperature. Therefore, so he recommends this area, it is better to cover. And in 1829, practical plant was completed in London, UK, and this slogan was introduced to the United States in 1832, the first one in Richmond. And so the present, so practical use, present slogan filter is the oldest one in New York is Poughkeepsie. So this one is in the coastal area, therefore this one is open filter. And a little bit, so the inside of the coastal area, this is Ilion, New York. It was also open filter, but behind is covered filter. In this figure photograph, I found that this part open filtration pond. In this cavity is open, the filtrate is open. Anyhow, so this one. And then, as you know, the New York or more inside of United States continent, that case easier to cover, easier to clock. That case, due to they believe due to the turbid matter. In that case, they use chemical, coagulant, flocculant. In 82, they rapid sand filter backwashing process. So this the no coagulant they use twice, this way. And then in 85, rapid sand filtration is invented. Rapid sand. And then rapid sand and chlorination. So some bacteria leak, therefore chlorinated fossilized. So it becomes a more safe water, germ-free water by the chlorination. Therefore, this is new technique spread to all over the United States and the world. In 1910, rapid sand chlorination in United States and all over the world. So, rapid 1924, rapid sand filtration active using the countermeasure of the in order to countermeasure of the odor substance, active carbon and chlorination. So the statics in 1940, at that time, United States slow sound filter is around 100, but rapid sound filter more than 20 times, 275. Therefore, in the case of slow, the purification plant, that is usually it means rapid sound filter. But in my country, the first slow sound filter is recommended, introduced in 1887 in Yokohama, Japan. And after that, slow sound filter spread in my country, all over the country. And rapid sound filter is from the 1912 in Kyoto, Japan. The statics, before the Second War, at that case, slow sound filter in my country, many plants. Rapid sound filter is several plants. This is quite different of the United States and Japan. And slow sound filter is there is in the open slow sound filter, at that case, many algae grow because related to the solar radiation in summertime. But, beneath the sun surface, there is no sunshine. At that case, there is the activity of heterotrophic organisms. That is bacteria and small animals related to temperature and amount of food for them. So this part and this part. And inland of North America in winter is so severe cold, viscosity of water becomes so high in winter. So the scrapping of dirty sand layer is hard in winter. Therefore, this is United States. This is more popular in United States. And this slow sand filter is to make the safe water, germ-free water, by just slow sand filter. In that case, original filtration rate is only 2 meters per day. But in the tropical region and warm temperate region at that time, thus this slow sand filter is as a standard English, so standard rate is so is become 4.8 meter per day, more than 2 times faster speed, because this is due to the biological activity in warm region compared with United Kingdom. But present Thames filter rate in London 9.6 meter per day. Thames filter engineer understand faster filtrate rate makes better filtrate even in cool London. Thames Water Company recognized that purification is done by activity of small biological community in slow sand filter. But the European people constructed slow sand filter as English filter by themselves in order to get germ-free, safe water for them in developing country where a warm climate region. That since the Earth is rotate, the trade wind and westerly wind are created, which create ocean currents. Temperature are affected by these current. Warm Britain was influenced by the warm Gulf Stream. Therefore, United Kingdom is always warmer than United States. West Coast is very cold and East Coast is warm. Therefore, this is due to the biological activity on the algae and heterotrophic organisms. We have to remember about the activity of algae and heterotrophic organisms. In my country, in northern part of my country, there are several covered filter is north of my country. This is Hokkaido, in North country. And so in my prefecture near my city is also there is covered filter. But in the cold, even in frozen lake, usually we can fish catch food even under the covered rays. In the as you know, the slow sand filter is also technology from the United Kingdom. But rapid sand filter is new technology. Therefore, people love new technology. Then rapid sand filter spreads so fast in United States and the world. In that case, usually trouble happen by the taste and odor problem by algae or filter clogging by algae because they treated the chemicals. In that case, these animal cannot work in this sun layer. Therefore, this was usually these algae is food for them, but if treated, the chemicals, in that case, animal cannot survive. This water engineers treated sand filter as a mechanical filter to reduce the turbid matter. Therefore, they used to the rapid sand filter. In slow sand filter, the algae and other aquatic microorganisms may play a useful part in treatment process. And according to the Baker, 1948, more than 2,000 plants were rapid sand filter and 100 plants is slow sand filter United States. But in my country, Japan, so many of its the slow sand filter and some is untreated. Very small number is rapid sand filter. But present time, so the mountain country, therefore the untreated plant is so many, and slow sand filter, some and rapid sand filter mainly in the municipal area. And so Rachel Carlson published in 1962. The title is Silent Spirit, pointed out the danger of chlorinated compounds such as DDT or insecticide. It warned that chemical with concentration in the food chain and pose an unexpected danger. Warming for the chemical by biological concentration in the field through the food chain. And so this is a famous report about Robert Harris and others in 1974. This is about the cancer problem. This is very famous, very popular, so they're famous. Many cities, such as New Orleans, make drinking water from extremely polluted water. That's the case, and they use many chemicals. So the many pollutants pass through this process, and so the cancer is generated by organic chlorine compound and chlorination in water. This is very famous, very warming. A new technology of American filter, rapid transfer requests many chemicals. This is warming for the cancer risk of trihalmethane formation by chemical specials chlorine compound. And WHO also refocus on slow sand filtration as chemical-free safe treatment in 1974. This is one of the most famous manual. So slow sand filtration, Friesman and Wood. You can get free download. So you can search in the internet. This is one of the best manual of the slow sand filter. In this book, another book, but so this is the Gabriel Haber in 1985, simple method for the treatment of drinking water. This is German filter manual, but in original one, first edition is German, but the second one, and this was introduced to translated to English. In this textbook, there is the criteria of the number of turbidity and E. coli in original water, which level is necessary to the treated process. At that case, small number of the essential coli. In that case, no treatment necessary. Even look like only disinfection overthrow and filter and heavily polluted. At that case, we need to do the chemical treatment, rapid transfer. Look like this. As you know, so usually it is popular in the world to eat with our bare hand. We have to remove the contaminated small stones in food. This is reasonable way. So as in present, the present WHO safe standard for the bacteria is referred to this 100 colony forming unit per milliliter. That is reported by Dr. Robert Koch in 1892. So this idea is acceptable risk. Wash our hands, reduce the risk of contamination. This is the basic for to get the safe way to get the safe water. And this is my city. So this is my city. Weather is around here. I start to work in 1974 since university. Scholarly reservoir study, eutrophication problem, and from the 84 we study about source and filter. In that case, I found the role of the algae is effective for this purification process. So we check the manual in the world. We found WHO manual and this report proceedings of first source and filter conference in London in 1988. Therefore, I visited. My first visit to the Thames filter was August 1995. I discussed with Thames filter specialists on source and filter. And in 91, October 2nd, second source and filter conference in New Hampshire, United States. And following year, a large outbreak diarrhea was occurred in Milwaukee, United States in 93. Over 400,000 people were sickened by Cryptosporidium. Then American Water Works Association is held workshop on source and filtration is more safe system, Refocus. That I attended this workshop. They said Refocus, rediscovery, timeless technology for modern application. But people said, however, people love the new technology. This is the problem. As you know, the diarrhea is usually diarrhea is mammal, only the mammal. Mammal has with the long intestines have a diarrhea due to Cryptosporidium. In the small animal, they have short intestinal tract. Cryptosporidium is excreted before it becomes active. And dormant spore of oocysts pass through the backwashing process of rapid sand filter, and dormant spore could not kill with chlorine. And I visit to the second, so the oldest, so the filter plant So that is the village of New York, Ilion, New York, maintained the second oldest working slow sound filter system. It was built in 1891, United States. McCollum, Mike organized the American Slow Sound Association in 94. So I attend this American Slow Sound Association every year. This is slow sound filter in Ilium. And I visit some in covered slow sound filter plant in Central Belt, New York was constructed. So the 1907 water reservoir, and this one is slow sound filter, covered slow sound filter. But behind there is cattle yard. They did not care about the farm animal, cattle around the water reservoir. Slow sand filtration system was the focus and the discovery in the United States as a timeless technology for modern application. And in American Water Association journal, at that case, they said what is the realist, what is more safe treatment? They said cryptosporidium never been detected in the finished water. However, studies found cryptosporidium in greater than 85% of all surface water supplies. These same studies identified cryptosporidium in more than 25% of the treated water supply with effluent turbidity of less than 0.1 NTU. And other report is so few outbreaks. And in Journal of the AWWA in 96, accepted risk of microbial risk, slow and filtered, still timeless technology, and the new layer. So, therefore, this slow sound filter is we have to refocus, and we have to think. We have to think about the acceptable risk. We use cover ceremony, so reduce the risk of microbial contamination by hand wash. I visited so the many country at that case, so in northern region in Canada and Scotland, at that case, water is black color, brown color. They don't care about the brown color. They they care about the chlorination. I contacted with Dr. Nigel Graham, Imperial College of London. He organized the first international conference of slow and filter in 1988. Then I could study on the Thames filter during 1994 to 96. I checked the seasonal growth of the pattern of algal mat in Thames filter. I attended the third conference and fourth conference, and we organized the fifth conference in Nagoya, Japan. I published many books about the natural filter of salt and filter in Japanese, and how to make drinking water by the ecological purification system in 2005. This was translated in Chinese and Portuguese. And the Jica also made internet text through the internet. This was case of I made video case for the safe, delicious tap water, Miyako-jima Island in 2007. This was from here, so JICA made internet textbook in 2009, and this was modified re-upload in September 2019, digest version 3 minutes and 26 minutes version, this one. You can get these from YouTube file. And this one is also so summarized. We put the YouTube file, this one. And then you can reach also the many photographs about this conference. This is summary. And small water supply system is Refocus, WHO, and international conference. And the next lecture will be about the roughing filter and phenomenon of EPS, JICA training of EPS in Okinawa. So thank you.